I've put together a plain English guide for people like you and me to be able to understand exactly what the Digital Bill of Rights is about in easy language, easy terminology. So your digital rights explained simply, effectively. So it's a guide to the UK Digital Bill of Rights. The bill protects you from three things: being forced to use a digital ID to access everyday services, having your money programmed with restrictions, and being tracked by cameras everywhere you go. And here is what it means for you. Three technologies that combined could control your life. Each of these exists today. Each is being rolled out across democratic countries. This bill stops them from being used against you. So, digital identity. Governments introduced digital ID as optional and convenient. Then they quietly remove every alternative until you can't see a doctor, open a bank account, or get on a train without one. So that's the bottom line. If it comes into play, you won't be able to do anything without one. Anything. Programmable money. Unlike cash, digital currency can be programmed. Expiry dates that force you to spend by a deadline. Restrictions on what you can buy, or even a social credit system that controls your spending on your behavior. So if you are deemed to be behaving badly, they can cut your credit off. They can say, no, like we have a bank account and we like to think we can go and get money whenever we need it. If we've got it in there, if we need it, then we can get money. If it comes as programmable money, that won't be the case. And the third one, facial recognition everywhere. Cameras that identify you in real time at protests, at church, at the shops, building a permanent record of everywhere you go and everyone you meet. This chills free speech and free assembly. So if you're watched 24 hours a day, whenever you're outside doing anything, then people are not going to want to be able to gather and talk about anything because they're not going to be able to. They'll be known. And if you're standing outside shops with your mate and you're standing there saying, oh, I don't agree with this, I'm not happy about that. If that's deemed as unsocial behaviour against the government, then they could just cut off your money. If we've got programmable currency as well. So that is how it affects you. So the 10 rights under the Digital Bill of Rights will be written into law. These aren't guidelines or policies. They're constitutional rights. The highest form of legal protection, which a future government cannot simply repeal or suspend during an emergency. So say they want to have another plandemic. They've decided that the COVID is back. And they say, oh, well, we've got to completely ignore all of the digital ID Bill of Rights because, this is an emergency situation. Well, under this bill, they wouldn't be able to do that at all. So, Article 1, you cannot be forced to use a digital ID. No government or company can make digital identification compulsory, either directly or by quietly removing every other option. This covers soft pressure too. If the non-digital alternative costs more, takes much longer, or requires travelling unreasonable distances, that counts as illegal coercion. So if we don't want to take up the digital ID and they put things in place that make it much more difficult for us to live our lives, that's classed as illegal coercion. Article 2. You have the right to be anonymous. You can move, buy things, use services without being tracked or identified. No organisation, public or private, can build a full profile of you without your specific, genuine consent. Ticking a box buried in terms of conditions doesn't count. Article 3. You always have a non-digital option. Every public service must offer a paper or in-person alternative that works just as well as the digital version at no extra cost, within a reasonable distance and within a reasonable time. The app is faster is not an excuse to eliminate the phone line. So they cannot turn around and say, "Oh, well, it's got to be done this way because it's simpler for you." No, no. You need to put things in place to allow us to avoid the digital ID and to be able to carry on with our lives in the manner that we're used to. Article 4. Cash is a permanent legal right. Every shop, government office, and service provider must accept cash. The government must maintain enough ATMs and bank branches to make cash genuinely usable. Any digital currency must be voluntary, unprogrammed, and can never replace cash. Now, we're doing this, and I've said before, not everybody is unhappy about a digital ID. Not everybody is unhappy about programmable cash. Not everybody is unhappy about facial recognition technology. That's absolutely fine. This digital bill of rights doesn't mean that you can't go and get a digital ID. It's in place so that if you choose to, you have rights that are attached to it. And if you choose not to, the rights that you had before remain intact. Article 5. No facial recognition without a warrant. I think we probably all agree about this one. Facial recognition, gait tracking. So when you walk, you have a certain gait. That's what they call it. Like, so you might swagger a little bit, or you might have a bit of a limp, which is just something you've always had. So no gait tracking and other biometric surveillance in public places is banned. In streets, shopping centres, transport hubs, and stadiums. The latest is that they want to do facial recognition at football matches. Police can only use it for a named individual suspected of a serious crime with a specific judicial warrant lasting no more than 30 days. The data belongs to you, Article 6. Organisations can only collect the minimum data they genuinely need, must delete it when it is no longer needed, and cannot share it with foreign governments without a court order. No one can give you a social score based on your data. Article 7. You cannot be excluded for going offline. Refusing to use digital technology is not grounds for being denied benefits, healthcare, education, or any other essential service. Children cannot be required to use biometric systems or digital ID at school. Parents can opt their children out of all digital tracking. Article 8. A human must be able to review decisions about you. If a computer system makes a decision that affects your rights, money, or access to services, you have the right to a genuine human review, not a rubber stamp. The organisation running the system has to prove it got it right, not you. Article 9. You have the right to know how digital systems work. Government and essential services must publish what any new digital system does and why before they deploy it. Secret scoring systems are illegal. Trade secrets cannot be used as an excuse to hide how decisions about you are made. Article 10. These rights apply to future technology too. Any technology not yet invented is covered. Government digital systems automatically expire after 2 years and must be actively renewed by Parliament. A system that's rebranded or tweaked without real change doesn't get a fresh start. The clock keeps running. So that's the sunset clause. Okay, so that's an overview of the 10 articles of the bill. So in real life, so what this means in practice. Here are some everyday situations and what the bill means for each of them. So, your GP surgery moves to an app-only booking system. The practice says the phone line is being retired and you need to download the National Health Service app and link it to your digital ID to book appointments. You don't have a smartphone, you're 74. This is illegal under Article 3. The surgery must maintain a phone booking option that works as well as the app. No extra weights, no extra cost. Under Article 1, they cannot require your digital ID to access healthcare. So that's a situation that you can actually imagine happening. Situation 2. The government launches a new digital pound. It's described as voluntary, but the government offers a 2% tax rebate if you pay with it. And banks start pushing it as their default. Meanwhile, fewer ATMs are being maintained. You can just, these situations, you can just see, I came up with things that I could just see happening. The tax rebate is explicitly banned as coercive under Article 4. The government has a legal duty to maintain ATM networks. The digital pound cannot carry any restrictions on what you spend it on. Another one that's dear to my heart, you go to a protest. Cameras scan the crowd. The police deploy real-time facial recognition across the demonstration, saying it's to identify wanted criminals. Your face is scanned and logged. Remember, this is at a protest. I've covered protesting and the new policing bill changes that they're trying to push through. This is banned under Article 5. Facial recognition can only be used under a specific judicial warrant naming a specific individual. Scanning a crowd, even to find suspects, is prohibited. The data must be destroyed. Another one that's dear to my heart. A supermarket refuses your cash. The cashier says, "We're cashless now, card or app only. You have a £20 note in your pocket." This would be illegal under Article 4. All businesses must accept cash for lawful transactions. And again, I have to reiterate, I'm not saying that they're not allowed to take card. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that they're not allowed to take Apple Pay or whatever it is where you pay with your phone. I'm not saying that at all. This is not what the bill is in place to do. It's not to scrap all of that. It's to safeguard those who choose not to use those methods. So it's illegal under Article 4. All businesses must accept cash for lawful transactions. They can only refuse if they can prove a specific, objectively verifiable safety risk for that transaction. It's just our policy is not enough. Another one, like I say, I came up with scenarios that I really thought would affect or could affect us. An algorithm rejects your benefits claim. An automated system flags your application and it's declined. No human reviewed it. You're not told why. That would be illegal under Article 8. You're entitled to a meaningful human review conducted by someone with real authority to override the system. The organisation must explain the decision. The burden of proof is on them, not on you. And I couldn't resist putting this one in. A pandemic is declared and the government suspends digital rights. Emergency legislation is passed saying the biometric surveillance ban is temporarily lifted for public health reasons. You could just picture it, couldn't you? Like I say, after the latest debacle. This would be void. The bill explicitly states that no emergency, pandemic, national security incident, or otherwise can suspend these rights. Any legislation purporting to do so has no legal effects. Courts must strike it down. So they're just a few scenarios that I came up with that I genuinely thought that's what we could face. And that's what the bill would address. So words that matter, there are key terms. And it's important as civilians that we know what these key terms mean. So words that matter, the bill defines these terms precisely so they can't be wriggled around in court. This was the cutting off of loopholes. If they're defined in the Bill of Rights, they cannot be wriggled about. So coercion, not just direct force. If a non-digital option costs more, requires travelling more than 3 miles urban or 10 miles rural, or takes materially longer, that's coercion. Failing any one of these tests is enough. An essential service. Self-defining, any service necessary for ordinary life qualifies, regardless of whether it is on a government list. If more than 20% of adults use it, it's presumed essential. Companies have to prove otherwise. Programmable currency as a term. Any digital money with built-in controls, expiry dates, spending restrictions, location limits, behavioural conditions, whether these controls are active now or could be switched on later. Decentralised as a term. An identity system isn't truly decentralised if it uses shared identifiers across services, can link data between providers, or give any single entity control over multiple services. Effect matters, not labels. Biometric data, facial geometry, fingerprints, iris patterns, gait signatures, and voice prints. Any data that identifies you uniquely from your physical characteristics, including future technologies not yet invented. Functionally equivalent as a term. A non-digital alternative that meets the same measurable standards as the digital version. Wait time, geographic access, cost, quality of outcome, and accessibility for disabled people, not just technically available. So they're the terms that I made sure were completely defined so that there's no shadow of a doubt about what we mean with this Bill of Rights. There's no, oh, well, we read it to mean this. No, those key terms have been defined. And that is what the Bill of Rights stands on when it comes to key terms. Enforcement. So, how your rights are going to be protected. What will happen if those rights are broken? Rights without teeth are just words. Here's how this bill is enforced. Independent Commissioner. A digital rights commissioner with a 7-year term, funded by an independent levy, not the government budget. What we know about the government, they underfund anyway, so it can investigate, audit, issue binding orders and prosecute. Cannot be defunded without a 2/3 parliamentary vote. You can sue. Any citizen or civil liberties organisation can take any company or government to court. You only need reasonable grounds to start a case. After that, the organisation must prove it complied, not you. Class actions are allowed. Pre-approval required. Every new government digital system must be publicly announced, independently reviewed, opened for 90 days of public comment, and approved by the Commissioner before it goes live. Secret launches are criminal offences. That's what we've had placed upon us so far by this Labour government. Secret launches. Oh, we're just going to do this. We're not going to consult you. Well, that pre-approval is required. And I take you back to me saying that they are public servants. They are public servants. They are in place and put there to serve us, not to be dictators. Criminal penalties. Senior executives who knowingly violate these rights face up to 5 years in prison and unlimited personal fines. Companies face fines of up to 10% of their global annual turnover. Directors can be disqualified if they break the Bill of Rights. Automatic expiry. Every government digital system automatically expires after 2 years. Parliament can actively vote to renew it. Rebranding a system or tweaking it doesn't reset the clock. The Commissioner decides what counts as new. Courts must act. If a law conflicts with these rights, courts must strike it down. No exemptions, no deferrals, no we'll leave it to Parliament. This includes emergency legislation. Judges cannot stay cases for political reasons. So these are some questions that I've been asked, and questions that I thought might pop up. Does this stop police from doing their job? No. Targeted surveillance of named individuals suspected of serious crimes remains fully available under judicial warrant. What is banned is scanning everyone on the off chance a criminal might be present. Many countries run perfectly effective policing without mass facial recognition. The evidence that it catches more criminals than targeted investigation is weak, and the chilling effect on ordinary people's freedoms is well documented. So it doesn't stop police from doing their jobs. So what if there's a national emergency? These rights cannot be suspended during any emergency. Pandemic, terrorist attack, national security incident, or anything else. History shows that temporary emergency measures become permanent surveillance infrastructure. And COVID-19 pandemic is one recent example. The bill treats the emergency powers argument as the primary mechanism through which rights get eroded and closes it explicitly. Will shops really have to accept cash? Yes. Every business must accept cash for lawful transactions. The only exception is an objectively verifiable specific safety risk for that particular transaction, which the business must prove. A general policy of we've gone cashless is not a defence. The government also has a legal duty to maintain enough ATMs and bank branches that cash is genuinely usable, not just technically legal. What about digital banking and online services I use voluntarily? Nothing changes for services you choose to use. The bill targets compulsory, not compulsion, not convenience. If you want to use a banking app, a digital wallet, or an online service, that's entirely your choice and completely unaffected. What changes is that you cannot be forced to use them. and they cannot carry programmable controls on your spending if they are government-backed or state-mandated. So if you want to use a digital ID, if you want to use programmable cash, that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem at all. This will help them not be able to control what you spend and where you spend it. They will not be allowed to have programmable controls, even if you are choosing to use the digital ID. So it's a win-win all round. Can a future government just repeal this? Not easily, no. Changing any part of the bill requires a two-thirds majority in Parliament, far more than any recent government has commanded, plus a 90-day public consultation and an independent constitutional review. That means no single party can quietly gut these rights with a working majority. It would require genuine cross-party consensus and public scrutiny. So there's a double whammy there. Is this just for people who are worried about conspiracy theories? No. No, this is not about conspiracy theories. This is about reality. This is about what is coming down the pipe for us as citizens. That's why I've put it in words that you will understand. No, the threats this bill addresses are documented, happening in real democracies and affect ordinary people in practical ways. China's social credit system is real. India's Aadhaar digital ID became effectively mandatory through service exclusion despite being voluntary. Canada's government froze bank accounts during the 2022 trucker protests using existing financial infrastructure. The EU digital identity wallet creates cross-border tracking. This bill is a response to documented developments, not speculation. Who does this protect most? You and me. You and me. Everyone benefits. But those most immediately protected are the elderly, people who struggle with digital systems, disabled people who may be excluded by digital-only services, people in rural areas and poor connectivity, people in poverty without smartphones or reliable internet, children who deserve protection from digital tracking, protesters and journalists who rely on the right to move and assemble anonymously, and anyone who simply values their privacy and freedom as a matter of principle. That's who it protects the most. It protects you and me. So this was my way of getting it over to you in as plain English as I could possibly make it, because the bill itself, obviously, if it has to go through a parliamentary line, the wording of it has to be right. But I wanted to share with you a bog standard explanation of what the bill's about, so that it would be easy for you to just grasp it. Just get your mind around what it is, why it's in place, or why it will be in place, because I firmly believe that this is what we need. I firmly believe it. And over the coming weeks, there will be videos popping up on YouTube that will give you much more grounding in the articles themselves, as well as the whole ethos behind having a digital Bill of Rights. If it's something that you're concerned about, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. If it's something that you really truly believe we need to have in place, then this is where it's important that you start to do your bit. And that is just by sharing this information. I'm not just saying share it on YouTube and like share it. I'm talking about talk about it. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your work colleagues. Talk about, let's get the conversation going around a digital Bill of Rights and having our our rights safeguarded. We need to have this in place, and we need to do it quickly. So, like I say, I couldn't find any politicians that I trusted enough to give it to, so I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you to you, the public. I'm putting it in your hands to share as much information as you can with all the people that you know. And when they start seeing me posting it all over social media, because I am going to post these videos all over social media until somebody comes forward and takes the reins of it. I'm not a politician. I can't take the reins myself, but there must be an honest politician out there somewhere.